Anyway, pests. No, so I guess they're not much in Portugal either. Than Manuel was saying, I guess they're up on the pergola vines anyway, so they can't really. You'd have to be quite.
It's hard for
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, in that case, I guess
yeah.
we'll move on to a few of the specific questions that have been sent in from people. So when I sent out the email, I gave a brief overview of what canopy management was and flippantly referred to it as just haircuts for the vines. And Sarah G got back and said, does the Chilean breeze provide an excellent blow dry for the vines? Which I think I remember from my early WSET, like level 3 or something, that the Humboldt current is particularly advantageous to all the wines of Chile, all the vines. Is it breezy where you are, Matt? I don't particularly remember it being a windy place.
It's pretty windy in the afternoons, yeah. I mean, every afternoon around 3 or 4, the wind will pick up because it's very, very dry here. Which is one of the reasons it's so easy to be organic in Chile, particularly in this part of Chile, is that there's no moisture in the air.
Right.
So there's very little disease pressure. As I said, you can just use these organic products, which are really, really quite sorry, something happened with my headphones. And the wind is really helpful because you just get this fairly strong wind every afternoon coming in, and that helps dry out any moisture because there can be a bit of like dew in the morning because there's such a massive temperature drop here or difference between the day and the night. It can be 35 degrees during the day and then 10 degrees at night. So there can be quite a bit of moisture in the morning, but it just dries out really quickly. It's really easy to be organic in Chile.
Okay, perfect. Next question, and a football related one. David S wanted to know Ivan Zamorano or Marcelo Salas, who was the better striker?
I would go for Salas.
Fair enough. Okay, and then back onto wine. Tim wanted to know, apart from like the environmental and social responsibility aspects of being organic, do you think it makes the wine taste better or more characterful? He was more specifically looking at. And I guess, are your neighbours organic? Can you comment on what their wines are like, if not, or?
I mean, I could come up with some absolute rubbish about how the soils and the lack of chemicals and everything. It's just pure wine, and it's just not true. Really, you can't tell the difference between an organic and a non-organically grown grape. They taste exactly the same. The wine tastes the same. It's more of a personal kind of philosophical choice. But there's no. I mean, that's the problem. There are a lot of organic wineries out there that won't specifically mention that they're organic, because then in the wine shop or the supermarket, they'll be stuck on that shelf that says organic wines, so the consumer thinks it's a different product. And it's not, just tastes the same, but it's just, they might mention on the label or on the website that they grow organically, but they won't specifically mention it as like, we make organic wines, because otherwise you get pigeonholed into a special category, and it actually puts people off.
Yeah, I find that particularly true with biodynamic. The wines that I've seen, or the best biodynamic wines that I've seen, don't advertise at all. They don't mention it. It's not a part of the wine. It's just, it's what they do because they believe in it, and then they want the wine to be judged on.
Yeah, I think if people are interested in the wine, they'll find out. There's always on the back labels. Everyone puts a QR code now on the labels, so you can find out about the wine, and that's kind of where it would be mentioned. That's where we mention it, but we don't really put anything on the label because we're not certified anyway, because it's just not worth it financially. But we don't want to get pushed into a different bracket. There's no difference. Yeah, it's all category based. So maybe an organic wine might be a little bit more expensive, or organically grown grapes then turn into a more expensive wine just because the cost is higher, which will push you up into a higher price range. but it doesn't necessarily make the wine taste better or worse.
Yeah. Have you found the same in Portugal, Manuel? Because obviously all your grapes are organic, but sometimes you buy in from
Yeah.
others who are
Yeah,
if they're
that's
in the
the thing.
process of converting.
We in Portugal, we are our own hectares, 14 hectares are full organic viticulture. But because it's our region is very particular because we don't have like massive lands with vineyard. We have like different plots from different people. So we have to buy grapes, and we can't guarantee that everyone is organic from where we buy. So we believe in I would say a diversity between plots, because I can talk about this challenge because we are a winery that works mainly with Alvarinho. So with different plots, we can have different styles of Alvarinho and more diversity in Alvarinho. For example, a plot in altitude it's different than one in the valley. So I think that's mainly it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when we were talking earlier about what the differences might be between Chile and Portugal. You mentioned the fact that you pretty much only do Alvarinho, at least 80-90% of it is one of your main challenges, in that
Yeah.
If it's not such a good year for Alvarinho, it's your whole. Was
Yeah.
that part of your thinking, Matt, between planting multiple varietals, or was it just it's just fancied those grapes?
Yeah, just fancied their own blend. That was it basically.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. And the Pais and the Cabernet Sauvignon is right that you buy in. Do you advise them on their viticulture, or you just buy the grapes?
Yeah, so the Cabernet Sauvignon, which last time we made it was 2020. We used to buy them from an English friend actually who does biodynamic viticulture, so it's all good there. And the Pais, we now manage our plot of vineyards, so we do that organically.
And have you ever been tempted by biodynamics or any of the ideas behind it?
Not really. It's just organics with witchcraft involved.
Yeah.
Don't really believe in witchcraft, so it's
Yeah.
just the same rubbish. Like it's like there's some really good principles behind it, and it's like if people want to do that, and it's great because it's still organic, and I think that's a really positive thing. But the whole concept of burying a cow horn stuffed with product K or whatever it's called in one corner of the vineyard, and then it's going to increase the fertility of the vines like 3 hectares away. It's just madness. It's just it's a religious cult around agriculture, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I have no problem with people doing it because it's just they're still being fully organic, and it's still a very holistic way of looking at looking after your vines and your soil and everything. So I don't see there's no negatives to biodynamic. I just find it all a little bit silly.
Yeah. You don't want to do it. You don't want to have the effort of having to do all that. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but it's all positive. There's certainly no negative or downside to doing it.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't criticize anyone for doing it, but I would take the piss out of them.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Rosemary, Kim, if you got any questions, just drop them in the chat as well. Feel free to ask anything that you're thinking about. And then I guess the next thing on my list of questions is we're going out in 5-6 weeks. What needs to happen now with the weather for the next 5 or 6 weeks? What sort of rain dances or sunshine praying what sort of witchcraft should we be doing over here in England to get the best possible grapes for our members?
Rain dance for the south to put out all the fires.
Yeah.
That's basically what we need.
Yeah. Keep it as far away as possible.
That will stop the fires propagating. It will reduce the smoke. We don't want rain. We just want normal Chilean summer, which is hot and sunny every day. We can control the sugar levels up to a certain point with irrigation, so that's not too much of an issue. And canopy management as well if it's really hot. But I'm just going to turn off my background and I'll show you what it looks like outside. choose virtual background, none. So at the moment, it should be major blue skies and sunny, and that's what it looks like, and that's all smoke.
Wow, yeah.
So
Oh,
it
it's
kind
like
of
fog.
yeah, it looks like fog, and it kind of looks like that light you get when there's an eclipse. It's kind of like dull,
Yeah.
dull kind of light, and I mean, it's not good. The air quality is not good outside.
Yeah.
We had some hotel guests arrive yesterday, and they were driving up from further south from where the fires are, and they said the zone, like the whole central zone where you drive through, at some point you could barely see cars like 20 meters ahead. It's just like thick fog. So it's not that bad here, but it is drifting up. So what we need is for the fires to be put out down south and for the smoke to dissipate. The temperature's dropped here. It's not as hot as it should be because the sun is not getting through.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it will clear soon, and the smoke won't cause any damage, or rather won't get into the grapes. Whatever happens, we're gonna, just to make sure, we're gonna have to do fast fermentations this year. Possibly press the grapes before they're finished fermenting to get them off the skins, which means we're going to end up with a lighter style of wine. Whatever happens, there's not really much choice in that. I would say a 10-day maceration.
There's always a choice. There's always a choice for our members.
There's always a choice, but there are choices I would highly recommend. Not
Yes, there'll only be good choices. That's
yeah,
true.
not choosing. But I think an absolute maximum 14 days from start to finish. We'll probably try and possibly even use commercial yeast to try and force the fermentations through quicker this year, instead of waiting for the native yeast to kick off, which can add another 6-7 days to the fermentation process. But we'll see. It depends how long the smoke hangs around. But we're definitely going to have to look at less skin contact time.
Okay. Well, Rosemary's very happy with that. She's happy with the lighter wine. I actually think quite a lot of people will be as well.
I think so. I mean, for me, it's not too much of an issue. We're just gonna have to treat the grapes with a little bit more respect than usual. Usually can be quite hard on these grapes because they bring out the tannins, and a lot of the flavors and a lot of the structure. It settles down pretty quickly in bottle. We usually bottle with the grape with the wines being fairly hard. But 3 or 4 months in bottle will round it out really quickly. But we're gonna have to be a bit more careful with the punch downs and the pump overs this year for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. If there's any more questions or anything, I don't know, Matt, do you want to? I mean, I know I'm having a meeting with one of your importers next Wednesday to try and get some of your wines into the sampler, but your wines available in the UK if people want to buy them?
They are, yeah. We just had a shipment arrive, so they're just starting to end up in shops at the moment. Don't actually have a confirmed list, apart from Dronfield World Wine in Dronfield, somewhere South Yorkshire, I think it is.
Right.
Owners are Chilean, and
yeah. Perfect.
But yeah, hopefully they'll end up in the sampler in the next.
Hopefully they'll be in the sampler next week, and if they are, I might even I'm sort of thinking out loud, but if we could arrange, if people want to try your wines to help inform their decisions, maybe we can try and put together a case and send it on from here. That might be a good idea for people. I will put that in the next email and see if people want to try some wines so they know roughly what they'll taste like. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for your time, Matt. It was good to hear all that. It's super interesting to hear like a different viticulture perspective. All we get in England is how to deal with the rains and the various diseases. Like it's completely different. So yeah, no,
this is a happy place to make wine.
It is. It's,
It's not incessant misery like it is in the UK making wine.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact you don't have to worry about ripeness, it just happens, is like
exactly
your dream.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for your time. And see you in 5 weeks. And
You're
everyone
welcome,
else,
yeah, and yeah,
go
if
to
anyone
you
has any
again.
questions, then yeah, if anyone has any questions, just send them on, and I'll get back to you.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you all.
Cheers. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take
Thanks.
care. Bye bye.